Okay, so we have 4 tiers. So Olympian Overlord. So the gods themselves take these supplements. You have to take them to get big. Demigod. So these are half god, half jacked. Hercules himself would approve on these. This is what he took to get into Olympus. Next up, we have the Mortal Supplicants. So here you are just at the temple gates, praying, hoping for gains. But you're probably not going to get them if you take these. And then finally, we have Tartarus Trash. So these are banished to the abyss. All they do is bloat your wallet and mock your gains. They don't work. They're not worth it. Welcome back to another Proseek tier list. I'm Proseek CEO Sai, and we're with Nicolette, IFBB Pro. And today we're going to discuss the best supplements. So here are the list of the most common supplements that we would walk to a GNC and find. What we're going to do is try and put these into tiers, and we're going to judge them on 2 things. So 1, how effective is it? And 2, does it work? And is it actually worth the money, basically? So thanks for coming back, Nicolette, and I'm excited to get started.
Yeah, me too. Happy to be here.
So first one up, we have creatine.
Okay, so ranking this in the tier first, creatine would go in Olympian Overlord.
Yeah,
Creatine,
I agree.
you agree, yeah. It's like the most cost-effective and effective supplement on the market. Also, like, very heavily researched, so there's a lot of support backing it on a scientific and practical application aspect. So you're not spending a ton of money for a very, very quality supplement in regards of strength, performance, lean muscle growth, and then we're seeing, the research to support brain and cognitive function. So really awesome supplement there that it's easy to get, easy to take. It's just a little powder that can be put in anything. So I love creatine and have, all of my athletes and clients on that one.
Yeah, no, 100%, exactly what you said. On those 2 criteria we talked about, it's definitely effective. We have tons of research on it, and it's super cost effective. Probably like per serving, one of the cheapest ones on here.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
100% worth buying it and using it. Is there
Absolutely.
a certain type of creatine that you would recommend over the others?
I prefer creatine monohydrate. And I was just going to say, well, yes, that form, I prefer monohydrate form. And I was going to say to debunk like the myth of creatine makes you bloated. I find that people steered away from taking it for a while because of that case scenario. But it's actually not.
So I know a lot of people, especially women, are a little hesitant to take creatine because they're afraid of it bloating them or adding water retention. Is that true? Is that something that they will experience?
That was what I was going to say, is debunking the myth. And I think people for a while steered away from taking creatine because they thought it would make them bloated and hold on to water. But this is actually not the case. My caveat to this is, are you drinking enough water? Are you at 40 ounces of water a day, or are we at an optimal water intake for the day? So if you're not drinking enough water throughout the day, and, some people come to me and we have to work on getting their water intake up before we do anything. It's obviously not just for creatine purposes. It's facilitated on so many factors, but it's not going to make you bloated. It's stored within the muscle. So it draws water into the muscle for those stores to fill into the muscle, but it's not going to sit and make you bloated or hold water elsewise. We actually want water in the muscle to help with performance, again, things like that, and how much the muscle is comprised of water. So now, as long as you are at your targeted water intake for the day and you're not just low intake and, dehydrated.
So can we define that a little bit? I know it varies by individual, but is there like a baseline amount of water that you would recommend someone drinking a day?
It very heavily depends on the person, depends on their body composition, their total body weight, and also their expenditure. Like if you're in a prep or a fat loss and you're doing a high amount of cardio, are you going to lose water in that process? So I would say nothing under 100 ounces and then you can work that up depending on where you're at in your physique, in your expenditure. What are you having prior to training, during training? You want to be super well hydrated for that. So a lot of my clients are in that 140 to 160 ounce range, and that's where they
Okay,
feel really good.
so that's a bit over a gallon.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, they're high training performing. They're like also, it depends on what season, but with the cardio, and they feel amazing on it, recover really well. Gut motility. So water is facilitated in so many processes. I have clients come to me and on their onboarding form, a lot of a lot of times it's like under 60 ounces and
Yeah.
something like that. And I don't automatically am like, here you have to have over 100 ounces. It's like we work incrementally to build that, and they actually find that they need more water as they're training more effectively, like doing these things, and they feel so much better. So water intake is a big thing to pay attention to,
Yeah.
especially when you're adding in these supplements and things like that, because it's utilized in every process in your body.
Yeah. So I guess if we put it into a general range, we would say like 3/4 of a gallon to 1.25.
I would
So
say
it's like,
that's a good
yeah.
yeah. Yeah, that's a good target. And then, like I said, it's going to vary individual, but as long as you guys are getting over, in that 100 ounce, over 100 ounce range, it's really, really awesome. You'll feel great.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. So creatine, definitely Olympian overlord. Uh, just make sure you are staying hydrated.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Um,
and that's with any case.
yes. Next up, we have whey protein.
Whey protein, I would put that also in Olympian Overlord. That would go in the top tier for supplementation. Now, I mean, I don't think you absolutely need a whey protein. So if you're wanting to save money in any regard, you don't need it because you can consume your protein in like a meat source and things like that. But for most people, they come to me under eating protein a bit. So this is a bit of an easier way to add in an additional 25 to 30 grams and have that shake and have a complete protein source in your day.
Yeah. And so one, it's convenient because a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people are under eating protein. And then two,
Mm-hmm.
it actually is pretty cost effective too. Like per serving, to get 30 grams of protein, it probably is cheaper to have whey protein than have like some beef or chicken. Um, Not that you should replace it with that for that reason, but in both those metrics, it is a pretty good supplement because it's a very high quality protein source that works well, and it's very cost effective too if you break it down by serving size.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah.
Um, okay, so next up we have omega-3 fish oils.
Omega 3s, I would put those in. mm, I'm debating between the top and the demigod. What would you say for the omegas? Because you can get them
Yeah,
through your food. Absolutely, you can get omegas through your food, but typically you're not
it is
eating.
hard to get
Yeah, it's hard
enough
to
through
get
your food.
the level of EPA and DPA that you need and the
Hmm.
diversity because within food, yes, salmon omegas and your different omegas throughout the day, but it is tough to get the level that is in.
I was
So I was
between those
debating
two as
between the
well,
top. Yeah.
but yeah, it is definitely very health beneficial. So there's a ton of benefits to it, but
And it's
it
not
is.
that expensive.
I was gonna say it is a little
You
expensive.
think? Oh, I don't
I
know.
guess. I mean, relative to other supplements, I guess not. So yes, I guess it'd probably be the same per serving as like protein, but I think would you consider it as essential? I do consider it essential actually because I do have
Hmm.
all my clients take it. Do you?
Yeah, most of my clients are taking the omega 3 fish oil.
Yeah.
And it's not a replacement for food. We still get our omegas through food, but especially like as you age and everything to help with joints,
Hmm.
inflammation, all of that
Brain health,
things that that it facilitates.
cholesterol. I mean,
Yeah.
there's so much that it facilitates. So I'm gonna say it should be at the top.
Okay. Yeah, we'll put it at the top.
Do you agree, or do you think it should be here?
I do. Yeah, I do. I
Okay.
do. I think it has a lot of research to support. I
Yeah.
would say the only caveat to this that I am cautious of is quality. Where is it
Mhm.
sourced? What are we actually taking? Are we third party tested? Are we NSF certified in this? Like, how is this sourced and what food is it sourced from and where, right? So, like, the quality of your supplements matters. Make sure the quality is there, the testing is there, because it's better to pay just a little bit more to make sure it's safe, effective, and you're getting what you're paying for, because the supplements I, partner and recommend, we have like super high level testing and certification. So
Yeah, so definitely sourcing is important because no supplement is FDA approved. So that is one thing.
exactly,
So if you don't have
exactly,
third party testing,
exactly,
you're just kind of going on trust. And
exactly.
if you guys remember, like maybe it was 10, 15 years ago, there's like that huge protein bust where like a ton of top protein companies are like spiking their proteins with other random stuff.
So yeah, there was just a research study. Did you see testing on the research study newly released where they tested a few top brand proteins, and they
Mhm.
actually found some lead and heavy metals, like
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
lead in a percentage that's a higher percentage. One was like 200% over the daily recommended intake. And these are some of the top named supplements. So I would definitely make sure what you're getting is super quality, whatever it is, because yeah, like
Mhm.
size, there's no FDA regulation on these. So the supplement company that I trust and love, what I was talking about with the NSF certification is they're third party tested, and then going that further step to be NSF certified, meaning this company has its own metrics of like levels of everything and classifications that it has to meet those targets to be approved. So
What
they're very
company is it?
strict. The company that supplements or the NSF certification.
Yeah, yeah, the
The
supplements.
company I use Lifetime and Thorn. They
And
so Lifetime is they carry their own branded supplements, and then
mhm.
they create their own. So I learned and went through all of the process of how they're created, where they're sourced, like a whole course like level.
Mhm.
And then they also carry Thorn, which some people are familiar with Thorn, and a couple other brands, but the site Lifetime itself has their own and has a few others, because Thorn I use because they have specialized supplements. So like thyroid, something like a meta balance for supporting hormonal health.
Lifetime is the overall website, or
Yeah. Yep.
okay, and Thorn is the
Yep.
specific brand,
No, well, both.
or
So
Lifetime is also the
Lifetime,
brand.
they create their own. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Yeah.
So those are two separate
And
brands,
then,
Lifetime and Thorn, and they're both
yep,
on
but
the
they
Lifetime
have them.
website.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Okay,
So they're
well that's good.
pricey, but like I said, they are because of where they're sourced and how they're tested and
Yeah,
things like that. And you're getting exactly what you're supposed to be in them. Yeah.
yeah. So I pretty much use a NutriCost, like the Amazon brand for almost
Oh,
all
yeah.
these. So those are super cost effective. Um, and it says they're third party tested. And I got blood work done. I think it was last September or so. Where I take a lot of omega-3 fish oils. I take like 6 capsules a day. And I got my blood work done, and my omega-3s were like super high. So they are real.
Really?
Yeah. So
Okay.
I was interested in seeing that. Um,
That's cool. Yeah, that's good to see. Yeah, blood work's another one like to like dive deeper into. So that's like a good thing that you're checking those levels. And like I always say, like, um, you can start with a foundation. People, anyone can start with a foundation of supplements for training performance, like protein, a nutritional foundation. But it really goes further step when you're doing something, when you're reading blood work and then you're using something for optimization, right?
yeah, definitely. I think a lot of these supplements that you buy should be based on what your blood work looks like and
Needs,
where you're
yeah, and your
lacking, and yeah,
needs,
what you
yeah,
need.
yeah,
Okay. So
yeah.
next up we have testosterone boosters.
Okay, so testosterone booster is very like there's so many different ones. So like they're
Hmm.
all created differently um and have different ingredients to them, right?
Hmm.
So I'm not sure. Okay, I would say, but you know, DHEA is its own supplement. So like I only utilize DHEA,
Okay.
and highly micronized bioavailable DHEA, which does help free up testosterone and like utilize more. So
Hmm.
a traditional test booster, I would say not really utilized. There's more of like a combination of ingredients in those, but like a targeted DHEA, we know what we're taking and what works, so we can test levels of efficacy, right? We can test your DHEA
Hmm.
in labs and test your total and free testosterone. So yeah, where would you put that one?
Yes, I'm gonna categorize it as a group. So like the group of test boosters usually have a complex of, maybe it's like tribulus or D-aspartic acid or things like that. Some complex of those that are supposed to help your testosterone levels. And it's I'm gonna say for the majority of people who are looking for supplements to help them take their performance to another level, or a lot of them are in their teens, 20s, 30s. I don't think it's worth the money to be taking a
Mm-mm.
natural test booster if you're 21 years old,
No.
because I think your natural test levels will be pretty optimized at that point. So maybe I just don't think it's worth it because it's probably going to cost the same as like protein or fish oils, and the benefit you're going to get out of it is going to be so marginal that
Yeah,
I would not say it's worth buying.
right.
Um, so that would be my rationale for it. Not that it doesn't work at all, because like maybe it does optimize your testosterone to some extent. It's just that if you're the majority of people who are going to protein like GNC and nutrition stores and buying these probably don't need that much.
Right. Right. Yeah, and that's another case scenario of like person dependent, like, and are we looking at your labs and what is your testosterone level and does it even need to be optimized? Does something need to be in place to support it, to increase it? Or are you just wasting 60 to $80 when your natural test is in a really optimal spot?
So I'm going to say probably Tartarus trash,
Oh, yeah.
just because I don't know that I would recommend buying it.
Right,
Not that it's that bad, but
right,
I don't know that I would recommend buying it ever.
right.
Or would you put it there or would you put it here? I was between these two, but
I never utilize a traditional like test booster. Like I said, I'm only utilizing a pure micronized DHEA,
mhm.
where we can control, where we can test, where we can have that in place to do a specific job on a level of we know what your testosterone is and we know what we want to get it to be optimal. So if it said DHEA, it would go way higher, but
Higher.
test booster, I don't use any forms like of those traditional walk into GNC and it just says
Buy like some,
testosterone booster and then
yeah,
on the back label it's a couple of different ingredients that or supplements
right.
um and yeah, they're a little bit expensive, so again, know what your levels are and then make that decision based on like your personal internal function and goals at the end of the day. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and even if your levels are low, I feel like optimizing other things like sleep and nutrition are going to do 1,000 times more than
Yeah.
taking a test booster. At least as
Yeah.
a guy, I don't know. As a woman, I'm not sure how effective these are. Um, like if you take, I don't even know, are those ingredients effective for women? Do you know, like D-aspartic acid and tribulus and um, boron and stuff like that you find in these test boosters? I'm not sure if those would also help for women or not.
No, like I said, I only put my women on DHEA, and that is super effective for increasing their testosterone and
Okay.
helping free up their available testosterone and utilize a bit more because it is that precursor hormone.
Mhm.
So we're targeting that on the money exactly versus something else that has to be then, digested, like broken down, converted, and there's not as much research to support those versus a DHEA. And like I said, I'm big on testing and making sure levels are in optimal spots. So we can test a DHEA, we can get a serum level, we can get a serum total free.
Hmm.
So the ingredients, I wouldn't recommend women to be taking. It would be a more controlled manner, like the DHEA and implement.
Okay, gotcha. So if you are
Yeah.
going to get a test booster, DHEA, but these complexes, yeah, well, don't wouldn't worry about those.
Hmm.
Okay. Next up, we have casein protein.
Okay. So I really rarely, never utilized a casein protein. It's just a slower digesting protein.
Mm.
So it's sourced and it's going to be a lot slower digesting than a traditional protein. So do you utilize casein?
I don't, just because I feel like it's redundant. Like I don't know that you need both of them.
No,
But
unless
is
there
not
was
to
a
say it
case
doesn't work.
scenario. Right. Unless there's a case scenario of you're deep in a deficit, you want to have a slower acting and a slower digesting protein source to sustain you in between meals or when your duration of sleeping. So
Hmm.
you're preventing muscle protein breakdown, right? But and maybe you want to stay fuller for longer. This is going to be slower digesting and acting. So I see it has an application in um, a deep deficit, or someone, that's, like really hungry and wants to add this in as opposed to a whey protein. But I don't see it, replacing like food whey. Like you can still do those things with your
Hmm.
diet and like having, evenly spaced out meals throughout the day, like things like that you can mitigate too. So I would put it in mortal supplicants. What do you think?
Yeah, I was between Mortal Supplicants or Demigod, just because it is. I mean, it is a good quality protein. It's a high quality. Like it
Yeah.
has pretty much all the
And
same benefits of whey. It's
it's a
just
complete protein. Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
It's just that there's usually not a need to buy both, just because like
No,
just a practicality. You really don't need to buy like a ton of
no.
protein, like whey and ton of casein, and um. So I think it's just a little redundant. And if I
Yeah.
were to choose one, I would choose whey. But so I guess I
Hmm.
can put in Mortal Supplicants, because one of the big criteria we're going by is
Mighty
value for
Zeus,
money.
grant me strength.
So you probably don't need to ever buy a casein if you are buying a whey.
Hmm. Yep.
But if you don't buy a whey and you rather buy casein instead, that's fine, I guess.
Personal preference.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Um, okay. So next up, we have pre-workout as a general class of supplement.
I would put that
So
at the very top. Olympian overlord. Yeah. Yeah, I was looking for caffeine on the list because that's a top tier supplement, but we can
mhm,
group caffeine in with
with pre-workout.
pre-workout because there is caffeine and it can have a different like source of caffeine depending on the pre-workout you get, but definitely has caffeine in it unless you're taking a non-caffeinated which would be a pump product, which I still
Mhm.
like a lot. So, um, there's so many different pre-workouts. It really we could go on pre-workouts for a long time because there's so many different ones and so many different ingredients and complexes into it. But if we're looking at, the general aspect of what is in there, on a basis of most of them have the caffeine source,
Mhm.
the stimulants, so you're getting that effect of energy production, and then you also usually typically have a pump complex within. So
Like a
love,
citrulline
love
or
all
a.
of it. Yes. So super awesome for performance and utilization to help with performance, help with blood flow in the training. So I definitely love a pre-workout and especially in a deficit, in a prep, when your energy is
Yeah.
a little bit lower, it's something you can pull from your toolbox and then have utilization of that to enhance your performance in training. Because in prep, our energy, or even a deficit, normal person on a fat loss phase, you're going to be, sluggish on some days.
Mhm.
So having this in your toolbox, and that's just what it is, can help, get that session really, really high level performance.
Yeah, I agree. So this is one of the only supplements that you see that immediate return. So it's like
Hmm.
creatine, whey protein, omega-3, like they're all great for you and you should do them, but it's more like a subtle long-term effect. Whereas like pre-workout, you're tired, you take it, your workout's gonna be better. So the value is great there. So it's definitely effective. And they're not very expensive, especially if you look around and like buy things when they're on sale. And there's always a sale on some pre-workout company somewhere, as long as you just check the formulation and make sure the formulation is good. Um,
Yeah.
and things that you want to look at is, the dosages of those things we talked about. So caffeine,
Yeah.
I actually try not to, I don't like the super high caffeine ones. I usually try and find one that's like under 200
Yeah.
um, milligrams, and
Yeah.
then has higher of those other blood flow ingredients like 6 grams of citrulline, uh,
Yes.
think beta alanine.
I think citrulline's the best one for
Mhm.
pump complex, but
Yeah.
there's so many ingredients out there and different complexes. So finding what works for you, and if you like a better, more like stim based, or you're more of a pump based. Like I look for the pump ingredients, not a highly caffeinated like yourself. Like I
Right.
don't, want high stim or high caffeinated. I really am looking for that pump complex to get that increased blood flow to the muscle, and facilitate like that really awesome training session and pump, which we get from the blood flow. So that's what I look for. And then having that little boost of caffeine, especially in a prep, can be very
Yeah.
helpful.
You love the ones that lower stim, but also have some focus ingredients like alpha
Yeah,
GPC or
focus.
huperzine A.
Exactly.
Um, and those I really like the best, like the combination of lower stim with
Hmm.
focus and then
Yes.
the blood flow stuff. But yeah, overall, very good,
Hmm.
like bang for your buck. Like if you, it's like $20-$30 for a thing of pre-workout. Um, if there's like
What?
a day
When did
where
you last
you're,
buy pre-workout?
I
20,
I
$30.
only buy my supplements. I only buy my supplements when it's like a holiday weekend and they're on like buy one get one free, or like buy one 50% off, something like that. And then
Yeah,
I'll buy like 10 tubs of it.
that's the pre-workout has gone up so much. I mean, I think like you can get like $50, $60 on the average
You
now,
can
unless you're
get
getting
that
them
high,
on
yeah.
sale, but they're they've gotten up there. But like I said, um, utilize it on the days you need it. So if you're relying on it and you're taking
Yeah.
pre-workout every single day, every single session, yeah, that's gonna hurt your wallet a little bit. If you utilize it, if a day you're feeling awesome, you have a good pre-workout meal, you're fueled, you have sodium, water before your session, you're gonna get a good pump. You have natural energy, so you don't need it. On a day you're dragging a little bit and need a little boost, you can utilize it. So it's not doesn't have to be an every day, every session thing. You can use it in a needs basis, and then
Yeah.
you're also going to not develop so much of a tolerance that way.
Right.
So you're
And
not relying on it.
yeah, and it doesn't have to be like a 0 or whole scoop thing. Like most days when
Yeah.
I take like a third of a scoop or half a scoop.
Yeah.
And then if I'm like really dragging, then I can take a full scoop.
Yes,
And there's
exactly.
definitely days where I don't take it at all. So it's definitely like on a need basis, and it doesn't have to be,
Yeah.
a full serving.
Yeah. 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 Because you don't want to be reliant on it or develop a tolerance.
Yeah.
So having it in moderation can definitely help. And then you actually feel a little bit more of that boost and those benefits on the day you need it, rather than it just like, I take this every day and it's just like you feel the same throughout. So I can definitely, that's how I recommend taking it, is on that needs basis. When you're in a build, you're fueled, good pre-workout meal, sodium, water, you can have a great training session without.
Yeah. And if you're looking for it on sale, holiday weekends, and if you ever go to like the big expos like the Arnold or Olympia, the last day of the expo, almost all the
Oh,
companies, they
because
don't want
they're
to take
trying
it
to get
home.
rid of.
So they'll sell it
Hmm.
super cheap. I always bring an extra
Wow, I didn't
half
know
full
that.
suitcase with me. And then I like fill it with all these supplements and stuff and then I'd fly it home. Because it's just such a good deal. And it's like you can get like a full time pre-workout for like $10-$15 there, because they're just trying to get rid
No
of it so nobody can take it
way.
home.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, I've never done that. That's a really good idea. Yeah, because they bring a lot of
Right.
stock, and then if they
They
don't
don't want
sell
to
it
take it
all,
back.
No. So, oh, that's smart. That's very smart. Yeah. And then President's Day is coming up, so maybe
Yeah,
some supplements
look out for
will
some
will
deals.
have a good sales. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Next up, we have carb powders.
Okay, carb powder, this is very person dependent. I don't think they have application unless you are, in a really needs basis for higher carbohydrate intake throughout your day, right? So
Yeah.
this is where I would say like you're in a growth and you are carbs are really high, and you don't really need to eat more carbs, and you can utilize that something like an intra workout and a carb that is fast acting, and then you then in turn also get your carbohydrate intake up because of that.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. Generally, that's exactly when I apply it is when food gets so high where instead of adding
Hmm.
even more food that you'd feel like
Yeah,
kind of slowed down in training, yeah, you start adding in that intra-workout carbs too.
yeah,
So, because it's a much easier way to add the carbs in. But I don't
yeah.
think that's necessary for a lot of people.
No.
Um,
Mm-mm.
and it is pretty expensive if you get like the
Yeah,
cluster dextrin or like the you can get cheap carbs like if you just get dextrose or something, but
yeah.
if you're trying to get like a cluster dextrin or something like that, it gets pretty pricey too.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, where would you put it?
Um, mortal, would you say, or would you put it at the bottom? Because it has application in
It does have
some regard,
application.
but
I'd probably put it
it's a
in
personal
mortal.
dependent. Yeah, I would put it in mortal because in some instances, right, some personal
Yeah,
situations and goals dependent, it has application, and it can be beneficial, but it's not needed and not for everyone.
yeah, it's definitely not necessary for a lot of people. Um,
Mhm.
so yeah, carb powder, mortal supplicants.
I used it a little bit in like growth because
Mhm.
like there was a point where my metabolism was just I would get like, dips in training, like
Mhm.
lightheadedness and stuff like that because I like training on 2 meals. I would have a good pre-workout meal, carbs were in good place, but I was just like on fire, like so I was just getting a little bit, and it helped having something intra
Yeah,
so that I would mitigate that like blood sugar dip and I could feel really like solid and steady through my training because I was just burning through everything. So my leg
yeah,
day, I would literally get up from sitting after a hip thrust and like feel lightheaded. So this was useful in that regard. So I would say in
yes.
something like that. Yeah.
Same with me right now. Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
because I my pre-workout meal is cream of rice and honey and berries and stuff, and that's just probably it's over 100 grams of carbs in that meal.
Hmm.
But I was having that issue where mid workout sometimes I would feel a little low blood sugar, especially if I ate my pre-workout meal a little too early.
Yeah.
Um, then so yeah, having that intra workout has helped. Um, and yeah, each meal of mine is around 100 grams of carbs, so it's hard to add more to those meals.
Yeah.
So I have about
That's a
50
lot.
grams of carbs intra workout too.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's good though. Yeah, so definitely has its use. So if you need and have a situation like that, absolutely utilize it. It can be very beneficial too. So
Yeah.
easy to
Okay.
get down.
Next up, we have mass gainers.
Mm, I mean, they have application for like very certain people, I would say. I've not utilized them or really have them applied, and I coach mostly women, so drinking like 1,000 calorie
Yeah.
shake would just be crazy. Um, so where would you put that one? I would say, if you cannot eat, like there's some application like my brother, like I put him, it was really useful for him because he just like couldn't eat the food.
Mhm.
And we looked at and sourced a really high quality one because again, quality coming back to
So I
that,
think that's the
they can
key
be,
here
yes, you can
is yeah,
be
so most of these are very cheap sources. It's
ugh,
like just dextrose and
fillers,
maltodextrin,
yeah.
Yeah, that's all of the carbs. So it's like you're getting
Yeah.
100, 200 grams of just like trash. Um,
Yes.
so it's just in that sense, and they're pretty expensive. I think mass gainers are not necessary just because you can make a really good clean mass gainer shake without it. So it's like if you just have a
Yes.
whey protein, throw in some oatmeal, some peanut butter. Um, I used to, when I was young, I would put in like olive oil into my shakes, which
Yeah, you can
didn't
build them
taste
up.
good,
You
but
can really build them up now.
yeah. But peanut butter I would
You've
recommend over
been
that.
better with MCT oil because it's less of
Yeah,
a. Hmm.
yeah, I would have.
I would definitely agree with that because, I've created shakes for men on meal plans that are like 1,000 calories, but they're
Yeah,
coming from whole foods, right? So you
bananas,
can throw
oats,
in
peanut butter,
honey, seeds,
honey,
and you don't
exactly.
taste that and you can drink that. So it's only, you know, applied if it's like you're you just wanna spend the money on it and you're like, kind of maybe not willing to make the food in that regard or make the
Mhm.
shake and you want something a bit easier. But source a high quality one and pay for a little bit better because it's not gonna be the same as using whole foods. You're not gonna get the same nutrients.
So you would so
Bottom, right?
yeah,
Would you put
yeah,
in
I
the
agree.
bottom?
I was gonna put it at the
Okay.
bottom.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, tartar is
I would put it in the
trash.
bottom. Mhm,
Don't buy it. Yeah, just make your own if you can.
mhm.
Yeah, because you
Yes.
can get a clean sourced one, but then that's probably very expensive too, right?
Very. They can like 80 to $100 for 30 days, 30 servings,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
So that's pretty expensive. So
Yeah.
if you can, if you need a high calorie shake, just make your own.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and then if you're not trying to get high quality sources, so like this is way back in 2012, 2013 when I had no idea what I was doing. And we didn't have many resources. So my mass gainer shakes after in college were just like protein powder. I would dump like half a tub of Ben and Jerry's ice cream in there. It was insane. I would sometimes put like donuts and cookies in there and they would just blend it and
What? Oh
make
my
it.
gosh. You were
Yeah.
just trying to put on weight at all costs
Yeah, because that's
then.
all we heard back then. Just like eat big, get big.
Just put
No
on
one said
weight,
anything
yes.
about just anything about. There
Nutrients
wasn't much
and
about
like
nutrients or
how.
anything like that. So yeah,
Yeah.
it was pure dirty bulks.
Oh my gosh. That's funny. I'm sure it tasted delicious
Oh, it was amazing. Yeah, but
though. Ah,
I don't think I'd
more
recommend
like a
that to anyone now.
milkshake than
Yeah.
no. No.
Okay. Next up, we have fiber powders. So like Metamucil or Fiberlize or something like that.
Like a psyllium husk.
Yeah, psyllium husk.
Um, I don't really utilize this or like apply this to myself or my clients just because of the aspect of like getting your fiber from your food sources. And if you take a look at your nutrition intake and you track or you have someone that creates your meal plan like I do for my clients, your fiber should be accounted for. And everybody's, there's a daily recommended intake of fiber, but some people could do better on a little bit more, a little bit less, but you can alter food source to get that intake. So I usually don't utilize these at all. And it's kind of also a misconception if someone's having gut issues, they're experiencing bloating, slow GI, constipation, things like that, to just crank them with fiber. And that's really not the case. It's not addressing the root cause. If you know your fiber's in a good place and you're having gut issues, there's actually other supplements that I utilize that help support balancing the gut microbiome and getting rid of that like bloating and distension and things like that. So getting into more of a root cause and like a supplement that completely addresses the gut symptom you're experiencing is person dependent too. So that's what I would say in regards to fiber powder. And I would put it in the bottom somewhere. Where would you put it?
Um, I think so. Having fiber is really important in your diet,
Mm-hmm.
and you should definitely have it in your diet. I just don't know how many people do.
Oh, really?
Because if you're doing it properly, yes, you should. And you will. But I think that do you think the majority of people who are bodybuilding are getting enough fiber?
It depends what they eat. Depends. It's not that hard to get 25 grams of fiber
Yeah.
if you're strategic with if you eat whole foods and you have foods that have fiber sources. If you're chicken and rice 5 meals a day
Yes.
and no vegetables and no sweet potatoes, it's like rice. Yeah, that might be tough, but I would say my my solution to you would be to add some diversity and get some natural like fiber in your diet. So, um yeah, it's so dependent on the diet, right?
Yeah, yeah. You should definitely just add your vegetables to your diet so that you don't need the fiber powder. Um, and I think this is better now. I think the past few years is becoming a lot more focused around micronutrients and fiber and things like that in the mainstream bodybuilding. Um, Whereas I think like 5 years ago, most people were just eating chicken rice. They didn't want vegetables in the off season because they didn't want to fill up with things that weren't going to make them bigger, allegedly. So,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
so I think now there is less of a need for it, but um, I think I'll put it above these two just because I do think
Yeah. Yeah, for
it's
sure.
helpful if you're not getting adequate fiber in your diet.
I would say, the only application would be, again, you're not getting fiber in your daily intake, or your intake is so low that it's, only low for an extreme point of time prep, right? Like
Hmm.
you're grinding for that little bit of conditioning and your intake is so low that your nutrients and total caloric calories and everything is dropped down. You can utilize something like that because there's not a way to get the fiber up. Something like that. That's what I would say. But
Yeah, I agree. When we first started the list before we ranked everything, I was thinking demigod, but you convinced me that it should be here. Okay, next up we have BCAAs.
oh yeah, we don't have anything in demigod.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I don't know which one will go there either. So we'll keep going. Okay, so
I don't
BCAAs,
know
where do we put
anything.
that?
Um, branched chain amino acids. So EAAs are topping BCAAs for
For
me.
sure.
So you got your more nine essential amino acids, and BCAAs have a lot less than that. So you can put them. Do you think? I think. I think BCAAs should go in mortal supplicants and EAAs should go in demigod. What do you think?
I think would you ever have a scenario where someone would buy both, or would you always just recommend EAAs?
Um, I would always recommend EAAs, and then,
Yeah.
um, one thing I was gonna say, is, like, the flavor, if you are, like, to curb a craving, like, sometimes giving, like, my clients and the EAA powder, you can apply
EAA
that to
does
it
that
too. I'm
too.
just discussing
Mhm.
them, like, all in total and, like, how they can help too, is, like, okay, one, someone's really struggling with their water intake. Okay,
Mhm.
you're not intaking water. Throw in either of these.
Yeah.
You could choose the EAAs, and then that gives you an extra 40 ounces of water, and it tastes better, and then that
Right.
helps you entirely. And what I think, and is I'm getting them to get more water by adding an EAA, but the more water is helping them more than the EAA if they're not drinking enough water,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
like, so that's a way to do that. And then like also in a prep in a deficit fat loss phase can have sugar like cravings, right? So like just having that
Mhm.
curve of like, oh, this is like a blue raspberry like treat. So then you're curbed from having like something sweet if that's so I do utilize these, but again those are my main applications because you want the protein sources of meat and all those things that are going to provide you the amino acids.
Yeah. No, I agree with pretty much everything you said. I would agree with. I think EAAs are better as well. But yeah, I think the application is exactly what I use it for too. To drink enough water,
Yeah.
and
Yes.
when you're dieting, it's good. Like right before my fasted cardio, I'll throw in my water and go to the
Hmm.
gym, do my fasted cardio, eat my first meal after I come back. So, um,
Yeah.
And it definitely helps
Yeah,
you
they're
drink a lot
great
more water.
fasted and great fasted if you are utilizing and doing a fasted cardio. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, so yeah, I would put, so I guess we'll start with BCAAs because I think we would both recommend EAAs over BCAAs. I don't think there is a reason to buy BCAAs.
Right.
So for
So put
that
them at the
reason, I would
bottom.
put it in the bottom. Tartarus trash.
Yeah.
Um, because we would usually
We
just
could do
utilize
an
an EAA instead.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
then,
Some of them have I would put that in demigod.
What
What
is
do you
this?
think?
yeah, I think I would too.
BCAAs? Not
Yeah.
worthy.
And some of them,
EAAs
like
are
I said, do have
superior,
a
the true
combination,
fuel.
which is fine.
Now,
Utilize that.
to mix
So
and conquer.
they can be helpful, like we talked about in the mechanism of water intake, curbing a sweet. So yeah, still like
And
them a lot.
EAAs are just a touch more expensive than BCAAs. So that's one
Yeah.
thing. So BCAAs you can get like dirt cheap if you find them on sale.
Wow.
So I used to buy those all the time just because we were buying like a lot of the crystal lights and those like water flavorings. And I was like, this is probably cheaper if we just buy the BCAAs and use it for that purpose. So that's what we bought it for that reason. But yeah, again, that's not a reason to buy it. In terms of like actual
Yeah.
performance and bodybuilding,
Yeah.
I don't think
Yeah.
it's that useful because
Yeah.
it is also
No.
redundant because your whey protein
Right.
will also have a lot of BCAAs in it. And all the protein you
Yes.
eat, if you're having enough protein, will have enough BCAAs in it.
Exactly. Yep. Yep. Absolutely.
Okay. And now finally, we have L-Carnitine.
What form of L-Carnitine?
Liquid, oral.
Okay. Okay. Any oral, I would put it at the bottom. Uh, you know,
Okay, so
bioavailability of that supplement. So,
mhm.
I mean, an injectable L-Carnitine, top tier, top
Yeah.
tier, but
So we
not an oral yeah, would put it at bottom or mortal?
I probably would have put it mortal, but so are you saying that you don't think the oral one works at all? Like it's not effective?
I would say it's I can send you there is like research on this too to support like the bioavailability of it, but I would say it's not ineffective at all. It does have some application for sure. It's just how much you're able to utilize, like your body's able to utilize that
Hmm.
and act on the mechanism of action of the L-carnitine. So we can put it in mortal supplicants. I think it does have like application, and it's just about like the bioavailability for sure, like how it's utilized. But it's not a bad supplement at all by any means,
Would
right?
you recommend a client, if they did not want to do the injectable, would you recommend a client to take this?
No, there's other supplements I would choose over this one, to utilize and dependent on the goal, right? So like
Hmm.
dependent on what we're trying to achieve, um, I would definitely go into something else that I knew was a bit more effective
Okay.
at whatever we were trying to optimize, whether that
So
be
for
fat
fat loss,
loss, yeah, fat loss, yeah,
so what are some
yeah.
supplements that you would put ahead of this?
Natural supplements, I would go caffeine, number one. Um, and then I would go, Yohimbine has some good
Yeah.
application. Um, and that's pretty much
Yeah, we
that's
can.
pretty much it. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I agree. Those are definitely caffeine and yohimbine are definitely effective
Hmm.
because yeah, like you said, if you are natural, yeah, these supplements like fat loss supplements are not really. That's not going to be the thing that's driving your fat loss. You got to just be on top of your diet and cardio and everything else. Sleep is probably the biggest
Yeah,
thing. Yeah.
for sure. Yeah. And that will regulate hunger hormones and help with performance. So I like caffeine in the regard of a fat loss supplement because it helps you perform better. So you have more energy expenditure.
Hmm.
So that's really the only, efficacy. And like if you sleep well and you're well hydrated and you're feeling great, you can have a really good cardio session, training session to get that expenditure up, and then making sure you're on point with your diet, and you'll be able to lose fat even. And don't think like you can't do it naturally. I have plenty of athletes that don't utilize anything to help accelerate their fat loss, and they get just as lean as someone who is. It's just because it just really comes down to having someone who knows how to get your body there and use tools to do it effectively and have a strategy for it instead of just slash calories slash cardio up, and then you run your
Mhm.
body to the ground and you can't lose any more fat. So it's just all comes down to those things. So you don't need, you know, need any of them to get good results.
So this is our supplement tier list. I think this looks pretty good. So yeah, these 4 Olympian approved, definitely take them. EAAs, demigod, a lot of really great use cases, but not absolutely essential. Mortal supplicants, these they're okay. Definitely not necessary. They have specific use cases. If you have the money, go ahead. Um, and then Tartarus trash. These not worth it. Testosterone boosters, mass gainers, BCAAs, L-Carnitine. Uh, they're not effective enough to be worth the price tag, and the price tag on some of these are pretty high, especially mass gainers, test boosters. L-Carnitine can be up there too. So definitely not worth buying, especially if you're on a budget.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right.
That
Well,
was a
thanks
good
for coming
one.
on. Yeah, it was a
Yeah,
good
that
one.
was really fun. Yeah, really great information. And yes, comment below what supplements you take and if you agree and you think are super effective or have really seen benefits and help in your progress with.
All right. And we'll be back next week for another list.
All right. See you
All right.
then.
Bye.
Bye.